Let's talk about this. People are out here throwing shade, missing the real point entirely, and I'm here to call it out. This is male choices. So hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss out.
Men tell me and other women tell me about their relationships, women's standards for themselves is in hell. It always shocks me. I'm like, you what? I'm sorry, but at this point, like, we live in a time now where women are becoming self-made millionaires left and right. You have the option to do that. Like, why are you guys dating men if your standards are in hell? You need to go see a therapist. You need to go do some healing. If you were dating men and y'all are like, oh, I'm a dream girl. No, girl, you're Papa John's. It's hot and ready into the door in 30 minutes. Like, how are y'all's standards so in hell? And it makes me feel like I'm crazy. I'm like, damn, how am I getting away with all the shit that I'm getting away with? Because apparently there's all these women walking around who will accept down here. Like, that is the standard. That's what I hear more often than not. Women's standards, even if they're gorgeous, beautiful, whatever, their standards are in the pit of hell. So I'm like, how am I getting away from asking for this when like 99% of women are asking for this shit? Y'all need to have some self-respect. I cannot believe the shit that I hear sometimes from women and from men. I will meet a man who's 5'3" and ugly and has no money, and he's dating a supermodel who pays half his rent. Like, that is what I'm seeing. And we should all hold each other accountable for that, and maybe bring back shame a little bit. Bring back shame. Because we gotta increase the standard of our overall demographic. Because holy hell, is it in...
Here's the truth. Women these days have set the bar for men so high, but when it comes to holding themselves accountable, it's buried 6 feet under. Women expect men to be this perfect combo: successful, charming, emotionally available, protective, confident, you name it. But do they hold themselves to those same standards? Not even close. It's always about what a man can bring to the table, never about what she's offering in return. They talk about wanting a man who'll respect them, treat them like a queen, and provide for them, but where's the effort on their part? A lot of these women lack basic relationship skills: communication, compromise, showing appreciation. They expect men to read their minds and cater to their every emotional whim, but they don't even meet us halfway. And when things fall apart, who gets the blame? Always the man. It's easier for them to point fingers than to reflect on their own actions. If they're not happy, it's because the man isn't doing enough, right? Not because their expectations are out of touch, or because they haven't put in the effort themselves. They want the fairy tale romance, but won't admit that relationships require work from both sides. Women need to face reality. If they want high-value men, they've got to start bringing high-value qualities themselves. It's that simple. Until they stop seeing themselves as victims and start putting in the work, relationships are going to remain one-sided. You can't keep asking men to meet every need while you're bringing entitlement and nothing else to the table. Wake up.
I tell myself I'd rather be alone than settle, and I'm a little worried the universe is like, okay, bet.
Yep.
We can make that happen for you. Deal. Enjoy raising kids alone.
Stop saying stuff like that.
Enjoy the rest of your life by yourself. Your idea.
Yep.
Simply put, if a man tells me that he hates women, I know that he's dangerous. If a woman tells me that she hates men, I know it's just because she's been emotionally done wrong.
Right.
So no, I don't care if a woman says, I hate men. In fact, I encourage her, you should hate men.
Right.
Okay? But if a man hates women...
Okay, I have a genuine question for dudes.
What's that?
So, I was talking to my therapist about dating, which sucks, I think, for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do it anymore. And so I told her I have the unrealistic expectation that somebody's just going to walk into my life and it will make sense. Like, not that my life will make sense, but, like, I'll like that type of thing. And I won't have to go through this dating mess because it's not for me.
So a fairy tale.
And she said in our day and age that men don't approach women, that we have made it too hard and uncomfortable for them, so they no longer approach women. Is that true? Like, I feel like I still get approached sometimes, but like...
Yeah.
Here's the cold truth, fellas. There's an inverse relationship when it comes to how you treat women and how they treat you. The better I've treated them, the worse they've treated me. But the moment I stopped caring, when I didn't think about them or invest my energy into them, guess what? They were obsessed with me. Then when I finally decided to step up, show more interest, be the good guy, That's when they started treating me worse. The moral of the story, don't try too hard. Women are never satisfied. They're not wired to be content. No matter what you do, they'll always focus on what you didn't do. And this is exactly why relationships are in the gutter today. Men are learning that chasing women, trying to win them over, isn't worth the effort. When you're young, approaching a woman for a date feels intimidating. You get all these fears popping into your head, but women usually enjoy going on dates because of the possibilities. Maybe it's marriage, material, maybe there's a future, but let me tell you, trying too hard for that. It's a losing game. The moment you stop chasing, that's when they come running.
Swiping right on a dating app nowadays is considered creepy. Don't approach women at the bar. Don't approach women at the gym. Don't approach women at coffee shops. Don't approach women at work. Don't approach women at the mall. Don't approach women. We live in HR world.
That's so true. And a lot of the women who say they're not interested in being approached are totally interested in being approached if it's the right person. So they'll put out this facade of like,
oh, I don't even want male attention. Don't walk up to me. It's rude. It's creepy.
When in reality, they do enjoy the attention. They're just waiting to receive that attention from the right guy. Some of the most like ultra feminists who say they hate when men look at them, they don't want to be objectified, they do feed off of male attention, and they feed off of rejecting men who they're not interested in. They love to reject a man just to know that they are found attractive by somebody. And deep down, a lot of women feel that way, even though they're
It's all right, here's the real deal. You've probably seen it all over social media. Women posting about creepy men or just straight up bashing men in general. But let's get specific here. We're talking about men approaching women. What's happened is pretty simple. Men are naturally responding to all this hate, and guess what? Fewer men are even bothering to approach women in person anymore. The result? Men are pulling back from those interactions, not because they're scared or weak, because they says Tavikith which says it says Mario Martin's high beat ice cake Harikumi vice at Zill when I know the game's rigged, and they're choosing to step back rather than risk being labelled or disrespected for simply trying to interact. It's no wonder guys are rethinking the whole approach strategy.
To a woman and ask her for her number or Snapchat, he's looked at as like a creep and a pervert, but if a woman goes up to a man, it's 100% okay, which is not okay to me.
How likely are men to have sex with a lonely woman out of pity?
I guess it depends on who you ask. I'd say pretty likely.
How likely are women to have sex with lonely men out of pity?
Oh, unlikely.
A content creator recently pulled some numbers from their channel, and what they found was eye-opening. Out of around 35,000 people, more than 50% of men straight up said they're hesitant or downright refuse to approach women. Why? Because they don't want to be labelled as creepy or seen as stalkers. In the same poll, 11% of men said they completely avoid women altogether. The rest either said approaching women doesn't bother them, or that they have other reasons for not doing it. That means over 60% of guys basically admit they're staying in their lane because they fear being called creeps. How insane is that? This ties into a bigger picture. Marriage rates are dropping, and men's desire for marriage is at an all-time low. Why? Because in today's world, men don't need to promise a lifetime commitment just to have some fun. Casual intimacy is spreading everywhere, and it's easier than ever to get what you want without all the obligations of marriage. Think about it. Men aren't out here trying to honour, obey, and cherish someone when they can get what they really want without the strings. In a casual setup, no one has to play by the traditional rules, and for men, that's a game changer. And when it comes to friendship, men can find that elsewhere, whether it's through male friends or even their dog. At the end of the day, what do most men want from women? It's not rocket science. Let's not dance around it. It's about what's down under. Everything else? They can get that from other places.
But girls get fuck-zoned. A boy stops talking to us suddenly after he gets a girlfriend, or starts ghosting us after we reject his first move. A friendship that we valued, we thought mattered, if only just a little to him, turned out not to matter at all. But in the end, we're the bad guys. We're the ones who lead the good guys on. Of course, we should just expect that's what you always want. We should just expect that friendship is never as valuable as a twist of our hand. They got friend-zoned. They only lost another girl, another rejection. but we lost a friend, someone we thought was worth more.
You know what's insane? You've got women out here who will drop a guy friend without a second thought the moment they get a boyfriend. But here's where it gets predictable. When that new relationship falls apart, or the guy doesn't meet her sky-high expectations, she comes running back to that same friend like nothing ever happened. It's a cycle, over and over again, and it's honestly ridiculous. Let's break it down. Women today have this endless roster of male friends just hanging around as backup plans. Meanwhile, most men don't have that luxury. We don't have a lineup of emotional support waiting on the sidelines. We're out here hustling, grinding, and trying to make things happen on our own. So when a man gets rejected by a woman, especially one who's no better than him in terms of value, it's a real hit. It's not just a small setback, it's a blow to his confidence and self-worth. And let's be honest, women have no clue what men go through in the dating game. They don't understand why so many men are hesitant to approach them anymore. Why? Because for men, rejection isn't just one no. It's years of being overlooked, undervalued, and cast aside. Women don't experience that, because even the most average woman has more options than most men will ever have. But instead of appreciating that, what do? They keep these guy friends on standby, drop them when a new romantic prospect comes along, and then expect those same guys to be there when the relationship fails. It's a game of convenience, and the power is all in their hands. What's worse, they don't even realise the damage they're causing. Men aren't out here trying to deal with rejection from women who think they can keep their options open forever. We're done with that. We're not here to be your backup plan, the friend you run to when things go south. Women want to talk about equality, but when it comes to rejection and emotional investment, they have no clue what it's like for men. Here's the reality. Women are making it harder for themselves by treating men like they're disposable, and then acting shocked when men aren't bending over backward for them anymore. Newsflash. Men are waking up. When you lose that guy friend because you ditched him for your latest fling, don't be surprised when he's not there to catch you when it all falls apart. Men are realising their worth, and we're not sticking around to be anyone's second choice anymore.
Genuine question. How do you date when you genuinely love being single? I honestly find it so hard. I keep downloading these apps, right? I get on there, I see the talent, I'll have a couple of conversations, and then I get so deflated, I delete it. Like, it's actually so much effort. It's like a full-time job managing those apps. Like, I feel like I've just gotten to the point where I'm so independent. Like, I literally take myself to the movies. I take myself on holidays. I'm like trying to start my own businesses. Like, I genuinely love doing everything on my own. So now it's kind of like I'll only date someone unless they contribute something really positive to my life, which I think is a good thing, but it's really hard when your life is so good. Like, I don't know, I love life. Like, what do you do? I keep going home. My parents are like, Taylor, are you dating anyone? Any boyfriends? Grandkids? I'm like, fucking grandkids, are you kidding? Like,
let's be real here. If she truly loved being single, why all the complaints about dating? These women claim they're happy on their own, but their words and actions tell a completely different story. If being single was so empowering and fulfilling, wouldn't she be too busy living her best life to even care about the dating scene? The truth is, when women say they love being single, it's often just a front. It's a way to save face because deep down, they're frustrated things aren't turning out the way they expected. They've been fed the narrative that they don't need a man, that they should focus on themselves. And while there's nothing wrong with being independent, they still crave a relationship, a genuine connection. That's where the contradiction comes in. They claim they don't care, but then they're constantly complaining about the lack of good men, how dating is hard, or how guys don't measure up. If single life is so great, why even stress about what men are doing or not doing? The reality is, she's frustrated because things aren't lining up the way she thought they would. Instead of looking inward or questioning her own standards, it's easier to just say she's choosing to be single. It's not about loving single life, it's about not wanting to admit that dating has been disappointing. And while there's nothing wrong with being single, the endless complaints tell a different story. If she was truly happy and at peace, she wouldn't need to constantly vent about dating struggles or men. She'd just be living her life, unbothered.